Alright guys, welcome to the third match here with Jeskai Aggro. Wow, we won the die roll once again. Whew. Yeah, let's go ahead and play first. Yeah, I'll go ahead and rev this up. So this will probably get us a hollowed fountain here. Nice aggressive start. Putting up a good burn impression here. But wonder if we'll be able to play as well as the burn deck here. Sweet. Oh, well, we drew the hollow fountain, so in that case, I think we just play it, right? Because we probably want to get a steam vent. Excuse my burps, guys. Now we have the hollowed fountain in here, and our opponent's like, alright, what is going on here? I don't think my opponent has like a flash creature, but in case they do, definitely not a... Ooh, does my opponent have basic plains path to exile? Yeah, it's definitely something I consider to be possible. Okay, but we still got a burn spell, got to ramp a little bit, so hopefully we find some threats here. Yeah. Geist of Saint Trap, Hazoret, wow, just green-white basics, huh? Could this be, green-white Value Town, maybe? Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a Sacred Foundry here. Sweet. Snapcaster Mage, Serum Visions. Let's go bottom mutagenic, top the Serum Visions, and let's slow my opponent down here a little. And I don't want my opponent to start going into like, overdrive mode here with Court of or Collected Companies and the like. Kitchen Sphinx, yep, that's really rough, right? That is great blocker, gains life. We may have met our match here. Another Snapcaster Mage. Right, not the worst thing in the world. Absolutely not. If our opponent goes and gets aggressive here, we can end step, snap, bolt them in the face. Which I imagine they will. Okay, so here we're looking for some of our premier threats. Is that a Tireless Tracker? Okay. To fetch land? Alright, just into that. Alright, I'm more than happy getting rid of that Tireless Tracker. So we're going to be playing kind of like a control role this game, unfortunately. Which is not something that our deck does best, that's for sure. Because we have Vapor Snag in hand, I'm okay using Snapcaster Mage here to start digging a little. Poof. Storm Chaser Mage is actually a threat that hits in the air, so I'm okay with that. Because next turn we can go Storm Chaser, Serum Visions, potentially some mutagenic growths in there as well. Alright, our opponent's cracking a clue when they have 4 mana available. Definitely what we want to see here. Tapping their blue mana as well, also what we want to see, because we are all definitely afraid of running into like a Spell Queller, that's for sure. Sully Pride Mage, interesting. I wonder if my opponent attacks here. No attacks. Great. Exactly what we want to see. Looks like they're fetching main phase. Get a basic Birds of Paradise. Okay. Yeah, let's just go ahead and run it out there. Hazoret, great. Great, great, great. We could have a pretty nutty turn next turn, actually. Which makes me want to swing out. Of course, they can block Kitchen Finks on one of our Snapcaster mages, but this is fine. I think this is a fine trade. Especially because we've got Hazoret coming down next turn. With 2 mutagenic growths to back it up. Alright, interesting. Wow, interesting attack from my opponent here. Maybe they have Restoration Angel. Knight of the Reliquary, sure. So I'm going to lead on Hazoret here. See if my opponent plays like a Spell Queller. No Spell Queller, which means I'm going to go ahead and Vapor Snag here. And then I'm going to go ahead and Mutagenic Growth here just so that I can attack with Hazoret. Now we're looking to be in a really good spot. Our opponent's probably going to chump. We'll say, okay, take 5. Go to 7. And our opponent needs to hit big here, right? They need to... right, Knight of the Reliquary is just not going to do it. Especially depending on what we draw here. We have a lot of... Wow. That's actually an interesting attack from my opponent, right? Because they expect to chump with the Noble Hierarch. This just... So do I want to bounce the Noble Hierarch? That way they're forced to block. I think so. Then I get to eat Knight of the Reliquary? Yeah. Definitely seems like a good line for me. Our opponent goes to 6 here. And they're kind of in the abyss. We can go ahead and put him to 1. I'm not sure what that does, though. Actually, this... Yeah, I think I would like to put them to 1 here. Right? Their knight is down. And now, literally, all we have to do is pitch a card to Hazoret, and our opponent is dead. And we know our opponent's sitting on Noble Hierarch plus 2 unknowns. 1 card that they drew, 1 card that maybe wasn't good enough to play last turn. So that Vapor Snag was definitely a decent draw for us. Anyways, looks like we grinded through our opponent. Hazoret was a fantastic draw. This seems like the kind of matchup where I definitely think I want Path to Exile. So this is going to be Bant Knightfall. In the case that it's Bant Knightfall, I mean, we could argue for Rest in Peace. I don't think it's quite good enough because I think Snapcaster Mage outweighs how good that is here. We can probably expect them to be playing some number of Collected Company. Then we also maybe want to consider Molten Rains in this matchup. Wear Chair hits their Retreat to Core Helm, but hopefully we'll beat them on a different axis than that, right? Against decks that use non-burn removal, I like cutting all the mutagenic growths, that's for sure. So definitely bring the paths in. Dispel, I actually am not sure we want Molten Rains now that I think about it, because they do have dorks, right? They have mana dorks. And they also have a lot of creatures, so Geist might not be great. So let's go ahead and get that second Dispel in here. I think we just want to play the game the same as we just played it last round. Just get them dead, right? Something with Magic Online lately, they don't let you resubmit decks. I don't know if they fixed it, but basically once you submit your deck post sideboard, that's just the way it stays. So Hazoret doing awesome work there in that game. Definitely a great. All right, well, Variance was bound to hit us at some point, right? Okay, that's a threat. I'll keep it on top. Here we want to avoid a 1-drop from our opponent, but looks like they will have that 1-drop. Cool. I don't expect to have to Vapor Snag next turn or Dispel, so I think I'll go ahead and preserve my life total here. Interesting. Thalia, huh? That's quite cool for my opponent. Definitely makes my Vapor Snags look pretty bad here. It also means I could just keep Storm Chaser back to block Thalia. But again, we're the aggressor here, in my opinion, so. And hopefully we get to draw a land soon. But if we don't, we can also just Vapor Snag our opponent's Thalia on end step. And then you know, resolve a spell that way. Yep, that's definitely scary. Would be nice if we had our Vapor Snags here, but and technically we do have our Vapor Snags, right? It's really not to say we don't. We can just play this game a little bit longer. Definitely not the game I want to be playing, but apply pressure, keep my opponent off of their whatchamacallit, their creature, creature that they just played. It's escaping me at the moment, but looks like we're going to head and take 2 here. And our opponent keeping up maybe mana for Collected Company, and that's going to put us in quite a good position here if our opponent doesn't play a threat. At the same time here, they might just main phase it, right? Which makes a lot of sense. Okay, neither Reliquary, sure. Selfless Spirit, interesting. Land, okay. Yeah. Land means we can go Mantis Rider. Do we want to Mantis Rider? That means none of the Reliquary is just going to smack us in here, right? That's exactly what that means. So I think we're, again, forced to take it a bit slow here. That Thalia really doing some serious work against the deck with so many cheap instants and sorceries. And hopefully next turn we can draw into a Path to Exile. That's ideally what we're going for here. Opponent playing lands is always good for us, right? I think at this point they've hit a good amount of mana that, you know, we're not hitting them off of any critical mass at this point. Interesting that they don't feel like they need to block with Selfless Spirit. Kitchen Finks. Okay. Yeah, that's rough. So I think we need Path to Exile on this very turn. Serum Visions. Okay, so let's think of alternatives. Next turn we'll get smacked for 6, 9, can block Thalia 11, and then we can maybe set up for the kill the following turn. I think I'm okay with this. Although, if my opponent goes and gets Gavany Township, can I actually attack with a Storm Chaser? And is this actual 1 damage relevant to anything? But then if they're not attacking with neither Reliquary, then that's 4, 7, 10. Yeah. So in this specific case, it actually is very relevant, that 1 point of Storm Chaser damage. If they don't leave back a blocker next turn, we can go Lightning Helix Face, puts them down to 4. Actually, point's not relevant. Never mind. I take it back. Do they just have the retreat? Ooh, Path to Exile. Ah, shoot. So a Bolt still... Bolt doesn't quite get us there, right? Yeah. That Thalia... Putting in serious work here. Let's just go ahead and get... I guess land. Land is a prowess trigger. Double prowess trigger. No, I think I put my opponent down to 6, unfortunately. I guess mutagenic growth would have done it. Oh, and they still have Birds of Paradise to block? 6. Oh wait, that's just lethal, right? Oh yeah, that's just lethal here. Right, I was not taking into account Path to Exile. Okay. Looks like we couldn't quite get there that match. But again, I still don't like mutagenic growth in the face of Path to Exiles. I think our configuration is good. Again, there's an argument for maybe Molten Rains over Geist of St. Traft, but they seem to be fetching basics pretty aggressively, so I don't really think I'm in the market for a Stone Rain necessarily. And Geist can just be insane, especially if I can just tempo my opponent out a little bit. So I think we'll just run it back. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead and keep. So, Lightning Helix is a bit uncastable for the time being. I think there's actually an argument here for fetching a Steam Vents on turn 1. Again, that, kind of cuts us off white for a little bit. But we can have a series of very aggressive turns. Our opponent mulliganing, they discard at the top, so that is good for them. Here, let's just go ahead and get our creatures online as fast as possible. And now we can start tempoing our opponent out, depending on what they do, right? Another Thalia, because Thalia is going to be really annoying. Yeah. I think I'm just in the market of bolting Thalia, because Thalia just is insane here. Now, obviously, this means my opponent can go ahead and fetch a non-basic and Path to Exile, but then that'll give us access to white mana, so I'm not too upset about that. And we still have the Vapor Snag here. Plus the Serum Visions next turn. And again, I could have just gone Serum Visions in the face of Thalia, hope to hit another land. Opponent getting a Breeding Pool here. What does that indicate to us that they want double green? Potentially Scavenging Ooze? Alright, so definitely they have Collected Company up now, is my guess. Let's just go ahead and start with Serum Visions. Maybe we can find a Dispel off the top. Sure. Yep. So our opponent timed it correctly there. Wow, all they found was a Birds of Paradise. Oh, God. That is horrible. I kind of want both of those, but I can't because I need the white mana, right? So let's go ahead and go top. Oh, I guess I can actually get both of them, right? Wow. Ooh, those are great. Of course, I think we'll just sequence it that way. I think my opponent's just going to be forced to block here. We'll go ahead and take 5. Next turn, we should have lethal rolled up here. I guess Kitchen Finks is kind of annoying. Selfless Spirit, okay. Okay, so I wonder if they do have Spell Queller. Like, if we just go ahead and attack here, they go block, block, and they're not dead. So I think the best way to kill them would actually just be Vapor Snag main phase on this Noble Hierarch. This will force out anything like a Path to Exile right now, as well as a Spell Queller. Yeah. Yeah, and I think my opponent at this point doesn't necessarily beat Counterspell or a removal spell. Sure, they go ahead and take my Vapor Snag, but again, that doesn't matter here because we just have the win rolled up, white, red. We'll target it here, I guess, but our opponent will sack Selfless Spirit. It doesn't matter because we'll have enough prowess damage. Sure. But our opponent is obviously still very dead due to the prowess triggers. Anyways, that was the third match against Bant Knightfall. Thank you all so much for watching if you're still around. Now we're 3-0, so we already got our money back, but let's see if we can go for glory here, right? Looks like we might be onto something quite spicy here. Anyways, thanks you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the fourth match in this modern competitive league. I will see you all very soon.